Call it a
I'm
bribe.
very
I mean,
familiar.
It was what it was.
I'm very familiar with his crimes and his corruption, and would welcome the opportunity to make that case to the people of my state. But we oftentimes think of corruption as just involving money or involving something illegal, but that's not the case. And John Cornyn is a perfect example of that, because John Cornyn was the deciding vote on that big, ugly bill that will kick millions of Texans off their health care. It'll literally take food out of the mouths of hungry Texas kids, all to fund tax breaks for John Cornyn's donors.
The Senate barely passed a spending and tax bill that would add trillions to the national debt. KENS 5 reporter Zach Briggs breaks down the potential impacts on low-income Texans.
San Antonio Food Bank CEO Eric Cooper has been keeping extra busy in Washington, pushing lawmakers to reconsider historic spending cuts to SNAP.
Just begging, right, that they make a decision to help families put food on the table.
The so-called Big Beautiful Bill includes more than $4 trillion in tax cuts. To help fill the gap, the federal food assistance program would be slashed by more than $180 billion. States would be required to foot the bill for a portion of SNAP benefits. Policy changes would also expand eligibility requirements, in turn potentially limiting access to SNAP.
It is the biggest betrayal of services to those that are vulnerable that I've ever seen in my 32-year career. We're literally taking money from the poor and giving it to the rich. It is the opposite of Robin Hood.
The Senate's bill, now being debated in the House, proposes reducing Medicaid spending by nearly $1 trillion. This could jeopardize healthcare access to more than 1 million Texans.
Between 1.6 to 1.8 million people, Medicaid cuts alone, the potential for 15 or more rural hospitals to close, which means you're now limiting health access.
Corruption is the betrayal of the public trust. It is the use of a public office to enrich the people who are funding your campaigns. And that's exactly what John Cornyn did on the largest scale.
Yep.
I mean, that is corruption of the highest order. And so I look forward to making the case against either one of those two Republican candidates. And I hope I give the opportunity as the Democratic nominee to do so.
You know, I have always admired the way you've approached public life and public service with sort of the centrality of compassion and of connection and of faith.